Some of my poems contain a bit of colourful language, okay? And obviously, as we heard at the beginning, this is a place of worship, and some of you might think that some of the language might be a bit inappropriate. This first poem I'm going to do does contain a word at the end. So if you are going to be offended by that, you might want to cover your ears. It comes right at the end of the poem. It's a rhyming couplet, so when you hear me say the word bucket, you might want to cover your ears. It's a poem all about life, and it's called Life. Life. It's a bumper box of Belgian chocks. It's a bowl of wholesome pasta. It's a rickety ride that rocks and shocks, so scream if you want to go faster. It's the state of being before you're dead. It's the mire in which you wallow. It's a shit sandwich, and if you've got more bread, the less shit you'll have to swallow. It's a funny old game. It's a game of fate. It's a long, winding road to drive. It's a tiresome drudge. It's a trap. Checkmate. And you're lucky if you get out alive. It's a journey through time. It's got rhythm. It's got rhyme. You can take it down whichever path you wish. But there is no way of knowing which way this poem's going, and it can suddenly go off in a completely unexpected direction at any moment. It's sweet, it's sour, it's hot, it's cold, its lies conceal the truth. But I hope I die before I get old is an anthem just for youth. It's a pint of bitter, it's a sticky sweet, it's a gamble, win or lose. It's a dodgy dance to a dodgy beat, but it's still the thing you choose. So, fill it up with laughter before you kick the bucket, because there is no ever after. That's all, folks. That's life. Fuck it. Thank you. Rob did a poem about terrible train journeys, which is quite coincidental because I've got one of those. Do people mostly live in Macclesfield? Yeah. Have you ever got the last train back from Manchester Piccadilly on a Friday or a Saturday night? You may relate to this poem. When poets and writers nick stuff or nick ideas from other writers, we call it referencing. We don't call it nicking ideas. So this one references W.H. Auden. There's a very famous poem called The Night Mail, where the rhythm of the poem echoes the rhythm of a train. So I've referenced that. This is called The Last Train. Here is the hell train, 11:14, to take you to nightmares and shatter your dream. Here is the carriage of vomit and piss, a quick flick of the wrist and a night-night kiss. Here's the smell of spilt beer and discarded chips. Here's the shouting and pouting from swollen lips. Here are the drunks and their drunken wives. Here are the hooded kids wielding their knives. Here are the hens clutching dildos and sashes, wearing surprise on their brows and eyelashes. Here are the wankers, the arseholes, the twats. Here's the come-ons and what you looking at. Here's the Uniteds and here are the cities, with songs of past glories and trophies and titties. Here are the sleepers in comatose states. Here are the weepers from another bad date. Here's the effers and jeffers screaming at phones. Here's the one sober passenger dreaming of home. Here's the drinkers, the stinkers, the lives on the brinkers, the smokers, the jokers, the hocus and pocus, the fighters, the shiters, the out for the nighters, the flirters, upskirters, the dishing, the dirters. Here's all humanity at its very worst. Here is insanity and we are the curse. Here is the hell train 11:14, out of its brain if you know what I mean. But as you arrive at your last destination, mind the gap between truth and your high expectation. Thank you. And talking of referencing other people's poems, this poem is completely stolen, actually. I stole it from a young woman whose conversation I overheard on a mobile phone in Macclesfield some years ago. And this is almost exactly what I heard her say. And I was like, and she was like, and I was like, whatever. And she turned around, and I turned around, and we turned around together. It what she said, you what? I said, I couldn't quite believe it. Do not, I said, or what? She said, she's not worth it, so leave it. She's full of shit, she thinks she's fit, the stuck-up bitch, she's gobby. What's up with you? Just make a groove, don't they call me gobby? Because I was like, and she was like, and I was like, whatever. And she turned round, and I turned round, and we turned round together. Thank you. I wrote this next one about a year ago. If you can cast your mind back that far, we still had a Tory government. I know, can you imagine such a thing? Anyway, it's nothing like that now, is it? Anyway, so at the time, we had a Tory government and a Home Secretary who went under the name of Suella Braverman. Who said lots of things to stir up lots of hatred and division in the country. And one of the things that she said was that if immigration continued at the rate it was currently at, then British culture would disappear. So that made me think about British culture and what it means, and obviously it means different things to different people, and there's no single thing that is British culture, and how can it disappear? But anyway, so it inspired this poem, and it's a message to Suella Braverman, and it's just called British Culture. It's not an exhaustive list, it's just things that I could fit in with rhyming couplets. British culture. Well, it's Tinky Winky, Nala, it's Dipsy, and it's Poe. It's chicken tikka masala, it's your hip-hop radio. It's fish and chips in Blackpool, and it's opera in Glyndebourne. Pork scratchings by the sackful, and then it's croquet on the lawn. It's going down the boozer with a sonnet by the bard. It's being a good loser, even when that's really hard. It's symphonic crescendo. It's the mods fighting the rockers. It's a smutty innuendo, even though that has its knockers. Got there in the end. It's roast beef with Yorkshire puds or a pot of jellied eels. It's the language of the hoods. It's the Mitchells and the Beals. It's complaining about the weather and it's bitching about the bosses. It's Willow hitting leather and then losing to the Aussies. It's the Dandy and the Beano. It's the Viz and Private Eye. It's sipping cappuccino. It is eating all the pie. It's banter between rival fans. It's drunken Gangnam Style. It's carnival with steel pans. It's a curry on the mile. It's a Hong Kong garden takeaway while settling down with Strictly. Are we recording it, by the way? While settling down with Strictly. It's football on a Saturday. It's a goth weekend in Whitby. It's a poetry and pints night, or a battle with some rappers. It's a hairy, scary fright night, and it's running like the clappers. But from the Saxons and the Normans to the Windrush generation, whether Rastas, Jews or Mormons, we're a multicultural nation. Thank you. My wife Tina, who's sitting over there on the third pew back there. Everybody will wave. Tina there. She used to spend some time as a job visiting schools, different schools, primary schools in the Stockport area. When I said this before at another gig, she said afterwards, you need to make it clear that I wasn't an Ofsted inspector. She wasn't an Ofsted inspector, but she did visit schools. Anyway, she noticed, and I don't know if people have noticed this, there's a bit of a modern tendency to name your kids kind of random words. And it happened when Tina was in a school in Stockport that a little girl came running up to her and went, there's chaos in the book corner. And Tina turned around and there's a little girl called Chaos waving that. So that inspired this poem, and it's called 21st Century Kids. There's chaos in the book corner. There's mayhem in the kitchen, because Prudence didn't warn her that treachery was snitching. Sobriety's in the corridor. Patience is being tested. Tedium is such a bore. Siesta's feeling rested. Persecution's just a bully. Cattie's really bitchy. Clarity's far from woolly. Chlamydia is itchy. Insanity's out of his tiny mind. Patchouli's a little hippie. Hemorrhoids a pain in the behind. Labia's a bit lippy. Melody can sing in tune while harmony joins in. Luna just howls at the moon and racket makes a din. Hope, she swings eternal. Eternal keeps on going. Alfresco stays external. Wisdom is all-knowing. Chastity's pure as driven snow. Rebels causing trouble. Hyper's always on the go. Champagne is in her bubble. Serenity's in their quiet place, while mischief's in the hall. Humility is in disgrace, but anarchy rules the school. Thank you. I'm going to do one more, but before I do, I have a number of plugs. Okay? First plug, I have a little booklet, I think is the best way of describing it. It's a book, only not as posh. If anyone wants a copy, some of the poems that I've done tonight are in this, and a few others as well. £5. What the fuck can you get for a £5 these days? And if you haven't got a £5, I've got one of those card readers on my phone. So there's just no excuse for not buying one. So come and see me in the interval, and you can buy a book. That's the first plug. The second plug, if you like poetry, live poetry, there's lots of it going on here in Macclesfield, and I've started hosting a regular event. It's every 3 months, and it's at MASH, fantastic venue. I'm sure you all know it. In fact, I think we're all going down there later on, aren't we? So anyway, the next one of these, it's called Poetry Pandemonium. The next one of these is in November, the 14th of November. I'll be there. There'll be an open mic, so if you want to come along and do some poetry of your own, you'd be more than welcome to do that. We have two fantastic guests in the form of Kieran Hodges and a guy called Shaq, and it'll be an absolutely brilliant night. So please come along to that, and I've got some flyers which I will distribute later on. So that's my plugs. I'm going to do one last poem. Rob also talked about going to the gym. This is a poem because you may be surprised to hear that I don't go to the gym very often. Maybe not. Anyway, so this is a poem about the reason why not, and it's called The Locker Room. Biceps bulge, pectorals ripple at the local municipal. Protein drinks his only tipple, new tattoo around his nipple. Spends too much time in the shower, scrub-a-dubs for half an hour, makes the old fat baldy cower. Thinks these muscles give him power. Cleaning, preening, it's the new way. Chicks don't like a weakling, do they? Guy applies his body souffle to the strains of Michael Bublé. full-length mirror, hair untangle. Latest product, it's newfangled. Limbs contort at awkward angle. Bollock naked, dingle dangle. Cubicles, you're off your rocker. Likes to show what's in his locker. Pacing, strutting, quite a shocker. How do you do? You all right, cocker? Banter, sex and kung fu fighting. None of you know what I'm talking about, do you? You're far too young. And now I've forgotten the next line. Banter, sex and kung fu fighting. Shows body lays with Chinese writing. Shows up well in this bright lighting. Hetero, metro, what a sighting. Biceps bulge, pectorals ripple at the local municipal. New tattoo around his nipple at the local municipal. At the local municipal. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.